move forward. Forward motion. That's the most important thing in life. All right. This is the Chazz Palminteri Show. I'm alone. I'm all alone. Catherine Narducci, Tara Connor-Tracy, they left me. Tara, like I said, is ripping it up, doing her stand-up all over the world. She's in L.A. now, ripping up down there. Also in Florida, Catherine Narducci's running around making movies. I'm here in New York. I did the Godfather of Harlem series this year, and I'll also be on next year. What a great show with Forrest Whitaker. You could see it on Epix, channel Epix. It's really one of the great shows on television. You want to come and see the one-man show? Go to chazzpalminteri.net. I'm doing the national tour all over the United States. Check it out. See it at a city near you. We are going to the Tribeca Film Festival in Portugal, the Lisbon Film Festival. Myself, my wife, my children are going. Three Nut Studios going. John Sheridan.
Hello.
So, John, tell me. This is the episode of Life and Other Bullshit. We said Life and Other Shit, but we changed it to Life and Other Bullshit. A lot of my fans said, no, make it bullshit. I said, you know what? That's pretty good. If you think you got a better name, Life and Other what, tell me. I'll change it again. It's my show. I can do whatever I want. So go to Instagram. Ask me anything. Ask me anything. Okay, about anything. Because I'm doing a lot of solo episodes now. And you want to ask about film, television, or about life and other bullshit. Go to my Instagram, leave your name. I'll give you a shout out on your name. Follow me. And this has been taking off. It's been doing great. So, John, what do we got? What's the first one?
First question we got is from Steph Villela. Villella. Villela.
Yeah.
And she says, can you talk about respecting your family and elders while still setting boundaries?
Wow. Respecting your family and elders. So, first of all, I think you got to respect everybody. You know, people who, you can always tell a child, they're very, you know, we always say the same thing. Oh, I met your son, I met your daughter. And what's the first thing they say? Very respectful. Very respectful. To me, you can compliment me, compliment my clothes, compliment, you know, oh, I love your house, or I love your whatever. Which is nice, but it doesn't really mean anything. But when you say, I want to compliment your children the way you know, raise them, that's a compliment. And they always say the same thing, you know, I met your son Dante and your daughter Gabriella. They're very respectful. To me, that's a compliment. That's, wow. I could tear up on that because that's what you want. And I tell this to the young people. You could have talent. You could have all the money. You could come from a rich family, a poor family. You can be a big star. You can be a janitor or whatever. It doesn't matter. But if you're not respectful, wow. Nobody gives a shit about you. Nobody cares about you. I see people who are famous who treat people who are rich. They treat waiters or waitresses bad. I mean, that just drives me crazy. It drives me nuts. I won't have it. I won't have it in front of me. I tell them, hey man, you got to apologize to the waiter. You can't do that. Well, they say, well, I ain't doing it. I said, well, okay, well, you not do it, but I'm leaving, okay? I'm leaving. And usually they do it, you know. What is that? It's a fly. Um, so being respectful is it's an important thing, and respecting your elders. Especially, you know, in America is the only country where when somebody gets old, they go, ah, he's an old man. Ah, he's old. What does he know? But in other countries, especially Japan, and they respect the elders. They go, let's go to the elders, see what they say. So I think the more we respect our elders, especially in America, I mean, you ever sit down and talk to your grandfather? Now, there is a point where it's a diminishing returns, you know, if they have dementia, Alzheimer's, or whatever, then of course. But when they're in their 70s and 80s and 90s, if they're still sharp, I mean, think about that. That's a history book. That's a history book, a live talking history book. I remember I'll sit down, I'll meet somebody who's 95, and I'll say, when were you born? You know, 1919, I remember. It was 2019 at the time. They were 100. Think about that. 1919, were there phones then? I don't even know if there were phones then.
They went through 2 wars, world wars, I should say.
1919 was just one war.
Well, by the time they reached
Oh,
2019,
they went to three. Well, Korea, you know, Vietnam. I mean, think of that. What was it like in 1919? What was Manhattan like? And you hear the stories of the cobblestones and the dirt road. And do you know why those rich people, when they lived in those brownstones, you know why you walk up the steps? You know why that, John?
oh,
You know
why
why
is
it was
that?
always steps up?
I have no idea why.
Because it was dirt roads and the horses would shit. So it got you away from all the shit from the horses. And if you look on and this person told me this, if you look on the brownstones, there's the fence going up. There's in the very beginning, there's the lines, and then there's one line that's out and it's got a rim. And you say, look, next time you go, look at the brownstone. And there's a thing where you go, what is this? And they explained to me that's where you would scrape the shit off your boots.
I know what you're talking about. I never knew that
Well,
though.
check at the brownstones and you'll see it. They have the scrapers there for your boots where you would scrape it off. I never knew that. But I was like, wow, oh shit. That's why they're all up on the steps because of the dirt roads.
That's interesting. I remember hearing my great grandfather always talk about how he used to watch Babe Ruth play. And to me, that was so incredible.
Watch Babe Ruth play. Wow. I mean, people ask me, I mean, you know, I'm not a kid anymore. They'll ask me, what was it like to watch Mickey Mantle play? Wow. I said, you watch Roger Maris play. That was pretty amazing, you know, the Eminem boys. So respect your elders. Um, I think that's a good question. What was the name that asked that?
The one that asked that was, where was she? It was Steph Villela.
I guess it's Stephanie, right?
Stephanie, short for Stephanie. Yep.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Steph. That was a very good question. Okay.
Next one's coming from Bob Rose.
Bob Gross.
It says, if you can go back in time to a historical event, what would it be?
Oh, well. That's an easy one for me. You know where that would be. I know I would like to watch the crucifixion of Christ. Um, Not to be morbid or anything, but I, I think I would like to see that and pray and you know, and thank God for all the blessings that He gave this world and me and my family especially, and everybody else. Somebody asked, I think, on there once, if you could have an hour with anybody in the history, who would it be? But one person I remember, I don't remember who they were. Last year they asked that. An hour with anybody in the world, that ever lived. Think about that. Who would it be? And they said, other than Jesus Christ.
That was Catherine.
What?
Catherine said that.
Catherine said that. That's right. And I said, other than Jesus Christ? That's a tough one. I would say, I don't know. It would have to be either Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci. It would have to be somebody like that.
What about Machiavelli?
Oh, Machiavelli, that's right. Or to sit there and talk to Machiavelli. Holy shit. What would that be like, right?
But you always answer that question. You always say you open a book.
Yeah, just open a book. Look behind me. These are all people who lived in that time. That's the power of reading. I try to read as much as I can. Reading is an incredible thing. It's like all these men I have right here. I don't have to go back in time. I want to speak to them. They wrote these books. Just read them. The Stoics. You know, they have great books. There's that young man who writes these books now about the Stoics. I think his name is Ryan Holiday. Oh God, I can't remember his name. But he's just great. Writes all these and does his podcast about the Stoics. You know what his name is, John? Is it Holiday?
I'd have to look it up. I'm not too sure.
I think I want to get his name right because he's so great.
Yeah, Ryan Holiday, the author.
Ryan Holiday, that's it. Robert Greene. I love Robert Greene's books. The 48 Laws of Power. Oh my God, what a book that is. What a book that is. You got to pick it up. And I want to thank Robert for sending me this incredible copy of that. What a great book, Robert Greene. What a great mind. He recommended a book for me that I should read. It's called The Five Frames of Mind. It was a great book. Great book. You should watch his podcast. He's terrific. Yeah, I enjoy. We have podcast. I enjoy listening to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's got some great guests. Some great guests.
His ability to retain information is unlike any other.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good when he retains all that information. But he has guests about health and about martial arts and about life and astronomy. And I love it because he doesn't care. He doesn't worry about numbers. He just talks 2-3 hours. That's a great podcast. It really is. They have great podcasts now, folks. If you're lazy to read a book, listen to some of these great podcasts. Some great ones. Anyway, what's next, Sean?
This one comes from Aaron, and it says, "How do you know when your intuition is working?"
How do you know when your intuition is working? Because of the way it comes out. If it comes out really great, then you know. Usually your intuition is always right. What is intuition? What is that feeling you get in your gut? You really don't get it in your gut. You get it in your brain. It's in the part of the brain. I forgot the name. The cortex. It's the front of the brain where you go, something just don't feel right. I smell a rat here somehow. You know what they say? If it's too good to be true, usually it isn't. And it's true. Some things, they look so good to be true, you go, come on, it can't be. And most of the time, you're right, it ain't. But once in a while, you get fooled. I have to admit, I've been fooled. But here's my opinion about that. I would tell whoever answered that question, whoever asked that question. If all else fails, go with your gut. If you can't make up your mind, if the numbers are right, but this does, if you just go, I just don't know, what does your gut say? Your gut will tell you the answer, and go with that. That's my answer to that.
Moving on to the next question. So this person, I can't read their name, but it starts with a Z. Just gonna call him Z. It says, "What do you think of modern day Hollywood?"
What do I think of modern day Hollywood? Well, it's funny. Hollywood's always been the same. Maybe the quality of pictures change, but actors have always been the same. Directors, writers have always been the same. It's a strange town. Think of Hollywood, right? Okay, and when people ask me, "What is it like living there?" Because I used to live there. We had a home there in Bel Air, and then we had one in Beverly Hills. And think of your father's a cop. Think of that. Your father's a cop, right? And you're a cop. And you live in this place where everybody's a cop. You meet a girl, her father's a cop. What does she do for a living? She's a cop. That's what Hollywood's like. Everybody's in the business. They may say they're not. They may say they're an actor. I had a dentist who gave me a resume once. I said, "Hey, babe, are you a dentist? You're about to drill my teeth here." But everybody wants acting is the only job. Think about this. Acting is the only job where everybody in the world thinks they could do it. Oh, I could do that. Yeah, just give me the lines. Really? You could do it? You could say these lines, walk over there, say another line, walk over there, memorize this whole thing. Really? You think you could do that and make it look natural? Oh, really? What about 100 people watching you with 3 cameras on you? Really? You could do that? Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Like if you're a heart surgeon, I can't walk into the operating room and go, "Hey, man, let me take over. Let me check this out." You're a psychiatrist. "Hey, let me talk to this guy for a while." You're a welder. "Give me that mask. I could do this." You can't do it. But acting, everybody in the world thinks they could do it. So has it changed? Maybe the quality of the movies have changed. I like the old time movies. I like the movies from the very beginning because they had to tell stories there. The great movies from the 40s, Touch of Evil and Citizen Kane, Casablanca. Look at those movies, folks. Some Like It Hot, French Connection, Midnight Cowboy. You had to tell stories back then. Don't get me wrong. These movies that they make now, a lot of them, these big blockbuster movies, Iron Man and Spider Man and the Avengers. I actually, I watch them. I get a kick out of them, and it's like a ride on an amusement park. You have a little popcorn, you watch it, you laugh. It's fun. And it's okay. And there's a place for those movies. I'm not one to be a snob and, "Oh, I hate those movies." I like those movies. And then but when they're over, it's over. You don't even think about it, never comes in your mind again. But when you see a movie that stays with you for days, for weeks, months, that's a ride. That's an experience. You know, the movies that I've written, obviously Bronx Tale and Fateful and Dante and the Debutante and some plays that I've written, Fateful, where they're doing it now in Argentina. They're doing my play in Argentina and Romania. And I get a kick out of that, a thrill out of that. Because, who is it? Edward Albee said it, the great writer, Edward Albee, who wrote The Zoo Story and so many great plays. He said, if you leave my play and you're thinking about where you parked your car, I didn't do my job. And that's the way I feel. I didn't do my job, he says. I want you thinking about my plays. I mean, I've seen plays that just, I remember seeing the first time I saw on Broadway Joe Morton in Raisin. I never forgot that play. I don't know why. I know why. It left an impact on me. Seeing that, I'll never forget that. I remember seeing Amadeus. Wow. I think I saw Frank Langella in that. Wow. I mean, I never forgot that. Sometimes you see a play or a movie and it gives you the chills and you cry and you laugh and you weep. Um, it's an incredible experience to sit in a room with 1,000 people in a quiet theater watching something and experiencing this incredible intimate moment. The Sixth Sense. At the ending, when the whole audience was like, "Wow!" When I saw The Usual Suspects, and I was with an audience, and at the end, when they saw that who Kaiser Sose was, you felt them all go, Kevin Spacey, walking with his foot, and he straightens it out, and his hand lights the cigarette. I remember the audience gasping. I remember the end of Bronx Tale when Sonny got killed, and I was in the theater and in the movie theater watching and hearing people cry and weep in the back at the end of it. In the one-man show, when I do it live and I perform all the characters, when I'm doing the last scene with Carmine and the boy and the father, hearing crying. Theater is a powerful thing, folks. You know where theater started? People don't realize this. Maybe some people do. Theater really comes from the Greeks. The Greeks started theater. What the great Greek minds would do, the Stoics, they would all get together and they would talk about situations. Because think about it, there was no television, no radios, there was nothing. There was probably not even many books then. So what could they do back then? They had to talk to each other. They had to try to learn from each other, these great minds. So they would all talk, and then finally they said, hey, you know what? Why don't we act out situations? And we could study them. So they would get on like a stage in front of all these great minds, and they would act something out like improv. And then the great intellectuals would speak about it. Supposedly, how the story goes is that they would do this on whatever Saturday night, and then one of the Greek philosophers, because, sooner or later it's got to happen, said, hey, this shit's pretty good. We could sneak some people in to watch this. And they would sneak people in, and before you know it, everybody wanted to come in. They started charging money. And basically, that's how theater started, So theater started from intellectuals trying to know the human mind. Whether it's movies or theater, you know how it is when you get so wrapped up in it. I think it's a great learning thing, But that's how it started. That's really how it started, folks.
This is really interesting. I was researching it while you're talking about it. It says the first plays were performed in the Theater of Dionysus, built in the 5th century in the shadow of the Acropolis of Athens, Greece.
Yeah.
And it said it could seat 10 to 20,000 people.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's incredible. Yeah, I mean, because you have to realize back then there was no entertainment.
It's like going to watch a baseball game.
Yeah, but think of the brilliant minds you had. Are there brilliant minds now? Of course there are, but I think human beings have gotten lazy. They don't read. I mean, we don't talk to each other anymore. We don't try to learn from each other. I mean, we have podcasts to learn, but there's something about talking to each other and not. You know me, I always talk about this. The internet is a blessing and a curse. Makes you lazy, but you could find out things. I mean, sometimes when I'm writing my script or a play, and I go, I'm getting tired. I go, let me check out the Grand Canyon. How many feet is the Grand Canyon straight down? You ask these stupid questions. How many people are in the world? How many people commit suicide in a year? And you just waste time, So be wary of that, folks. Be wary of your time. Because time is the only thing you can't get back. You really can't. And you heard me say it many times on my podcast. The only time you have is right now. That's it, this moment. So think of all the time that you wasted doing bullshit, and myself included. I'm not innocent of this. I've done it. We're all just works in progress. All of us. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's got it all figured out. But as long as you keep trying, keep moving forward. If you're going to fall forward. Always fall forward. Be like the racehorse with the blinders. Keep going straight. Don't live your life in the past. The past is over. That's like driving a car. Keep looking through the rearview mirror. You've already been there. Forget it. Can't go back. Don't live it in the future, because you're going to get anxiety of something that hasn't happened yet. And 9 out of 10 things never happen in the future, like you say. And you learn from the past. Move forward. Forward motion. That's the most important thing in life. As long as you're moving forward, good things will happen to you. Believe me, that's a definite. That is a definite. Another definite is if you want to be unhappy, then stop. Stop moving forward. Because once you stop moving forward, you take away hope. Hope is gone because you're not moving forward. You're staying where you are. Always remember that. People who are afraid to make a decision, they go, well, I can't decide. No, you have decided. You decided not to decide. You decided to stay where you are. And what happens when you stop? You don't progress and somebody runs you over. Always move forward. This is Chazz Palminteri. Life and other bullshit. Instagram, send me your questions, follow me, and I'll give you a shout out. And I know the girls are going to be back soon. I can't wait. But I'm enjoying doing these single episodes. God bless you all. Don't forget my one-man show, ChazzPalminteri.net.